Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2,502, with the release date of Friday, October 10th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The world's largest radio telescope gets RFI protection. The founder of the 13 Colonies special event becomes a silent key. And Sri Lanka launches its third CubeSat. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2502 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, here's Stephen Kenford, N8WB.
As construction continues on the world's largest radio telescope, known as the Square Kilometre Array, Faraday cages have been installed at the site in Australia as additional protection against RFI. Graham Kemp, BK4BB, tells us what's happening there.
2 Faraday cages have been put in place at the Square Kilometre Array site in Western Australia to protect the giant radio telescope from interference caused by RF leaks coming from inside the data centre. The data centre and the array are being built in Murchison, a remote location that provides a needed environment of radio quietness. Despite the radio silence at the location, the data centre's computers, which connect to the city of Perth, generate stray RF, spurring the need for Faraday cages to prevent the electromagnetic energy from escaping. The International Massive Array, which will have 131,072 antennas, is still a work in progress since it was started back in 2022. The site in Australia is home to the array's low-frequency antennas. South Africa is housing the mid-frequency antennas. The observatory and headquarters are at the Jodrell Bank Observatory in northwest England. Although the array will still be a work in progress through to 2029, Philip Diamond, director of the SKA Observatory, recently told the Register website that tests may be run on the facility as early as 2027. He told the Register, and I quote, "By then we will have the largest physical low-frequency telescope on the planet," end quote. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
6 years after launching its first nanosatellite, Sri Lanka has launched its third, and the ham radio CubeSat is orbiting the Earth. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, tells us what to listen for.
The Bird's Egg Dragonfly CubeSat has marked a milestone for Sri Lanka, becoming that nation's third nanosatellite in space. Developed with help from the Arthur C. Clarke Institute of Modern Technologies and the Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan, it began its orbit last month, following its launch from SpaceX 33. Its mission is to serve as an APRS digipeater and to test a new low-cost communication system. It will also demonstrate the relay of store and forward data. Its call sign is JG6YOW. The APRS FM digipeater frequency is 145.825 MHz, and its CW beacon is on 437.375 MHz. The 2U CubeSat project was funded by Amateur Radio Digital Communications. To file a reception report for the CW beacon, follow the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
In the U.S., the FCC has continued its actions against foreign-owned laboratories that test imported electronics for sale and use in the country. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, has that report.
4 foreign-controlled testing laboratories that evaluate electronics imported for use in the United States have been denied recognition by the Federal Communications Commission. Just days before the shutdown that affected much of the U.S. government, including the FCC, the Commission announced that the 4 laboratories, like the 11 the Commission denied in early September, were controlled by Chinese interests. That makes for a total of 15 such labs rejected so far by the FCC's Office of Engineering and Technology as part of the administration's goal to give U.S.-owned companies the responsibility of certifying electronics for import and sale in the U.S. All approved equipment must demonstrate that it is not a threat to U.S. national security and must comply with FCC standards. This move is the latest following the Commission's adoption in May of the order. At the time the order was announced, the FCC disclosed that about 75% of all electronics sold in the U.S. are being tested by Chinese labs. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
The founder of a popular and much-loved annual tradition, the 13 Colonies special event, has become a silent key. We learn more about him from Travis Lisk, N3 ILS.
With the birth of the 13 Colonies special event here in the U.S. as a 4-day event in 2009, Ken Vallone, KU2US, began a ham radio revolution. Inspired by the fun of the ARRL sweepstakes, the military veteran had hoped to organize a special on-the-air event that would spotlight American history and celebrate the nation's independence during the days surrounding the July 4th holiday. As Ken told ARRL earlier this year, the 2008 sweepstakes spurred him to try his luck, quote, for 1 year only to see what happens and to have some fun, end quote. The man who made sure that the fun would continue each year afterward became a silent key on the 2nd of October following a lengthy illness. In the years before his death, the 13 Colonies event had become an internationally popular activity with bonus stations and chasers around the world. Only weeks before this year's event, with his health worsening, Ken transferred the event's leadership to his friend Tony Jones, N4ATJ, coordinator of North Carolina's K2J station. With the help of Bob Joswitt, WA3PZO, the 13 Colonies event went forward. Ken stayed active as the state manager for the K2A operators in New York. Tony told Newsline that the event's 2025 certificate was one that Ken himself designed, and that only one change was made to it, so it reflected that the event was honoring him as its founder this year. One event operator wrote on Facebook, quote, Ken had no idea just what he had created. What started as a small event over the next 17 years became one of the most participated and celebrated ham radio events, not only in the United States, but worldwide, end quote. Next year's event will mark the 250th anniversary of the nation's independence, and Tony will be looking for ways to mark that milestone while continuing to honor Ken. He told Newsline, quote, I will miss Ken and his guidance, end quote. Ken was 76. This is Travis Lisk, N3 ILS.
People in Florida who turn to their churches in times of need will soon find refuge there in another kind of storm. Hurricane season with the help of amateur radio. Jack Parker, W8 ISH, tells us about creation of a new church radio network in progress.
His role as associational mission strategist for the Marian Baptist Association doesn't require Mark Weeble, N4GPA, to have a ham license, but Mark, a former pastor, took his FCC test successfully a year ago, and since then he has been finding ways to harness ham radio's power for churches' emergency communications during the hurricane season. The Ocala, Florida Baptist Association has already added a Radio Shack and has plans for a tower. Under Mark's direction, the group is also looking to create a network of hams within its 67-member churches. Pastors are helping Mark locate licensees within their congregations. Meanwhile, the association has a telescoping radio antenna donated after an upgrade done by the Marian Emergency Radio Team, a radio group Mark belongs to, which handles disaster communications at the county's Emergency Operations Center. Mark plans to give church leaders a tour of the association's Radio Shack in the hopes it will inspire them to install a shack for their own local congregations. He told the Baptist Press that church involvement makes good sense. He said, quote, if we were to have a hurricane, I'd need to know which churches have power, which churches are not damaged, and which churches can host disaster relief teams. I'd need to know which churches need help and which ones can help, end quote. Meanwhile, he is busy being helpful even without a radio in his hand. His chaplaincy training assists him in helping distraught families cope during or after disasters. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the amateur radio Newsline heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the AA7WI repeater in Tucson, Arizona on Fridays at 7 p.m. local time. Even with the government shutdown here in the U.S., the clock is still ticking for the FCC to receive a response from the Florida ham charged with illegal one-way communications on the air. A notice of violation was issued in late September to Mike F. Conte, KA2FTZ, for having operated last March on 7.200 megahertz, engaging in apparent one-way communications with a station for which there is no active amateur radio call sign. According to the notice of violation, he confirmed to the agent from the Enforcement Bureau that his transmission was a one-way communication. The FCC has ordered him to submit a response and explanation in writing within 20 days of the notice, which was dated the 29th of September. According to a notice on the FCC website, the shutdown has no impact on filings related to enforcement matters. A statement on the website reads, quote, "Except as specified by the Enforcement Bureau, there are no extensions of deadlines relating to enforcement investigations and other enforcement proceedings that involve specific parties," end quote. This month, contesters who are used to hearing a familiar call sign on the air from Japan will get a chance to hear him off the air in a forum designed to help them sharpen their own contest scores. We have those details from John Williams, VK4JJW.
There's no guarantee that Katsuhiro Kondo, JH5GHM, will be giving away any of the secrets that have made him one of Japan's top DX contesters. But you never know. Don, as he's also known, is presenting a one-hour virtual talk to DX contesters, or those aspiring to become one, on the 19th of October. His presentation on Zoom begins at 0600 UTC. IARU Region 3 is hosting the workshop because, according to the region's website, the number of contesters in Asia has been steadily growing. Don has been an avid contester as a teenager in the 1970s, but after a hiatus of a decade or so in the 90s, he returned to ham radio and to contesting in 2010. To hear his tips and maybe give yourself an edge in the next big event, register by following the link that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Most of you have certainly heard the Hurricane WatchNet on the air, but have you heard it as a podcast or even seen it on YouTube? Now you can do either or both, as we hear from Randy Sly, W4XJ. But first, listen carefully.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the HWN Report, the official video podcast of the Hurricane WatchNet. I'm Bobby Gray.
With that introduction and some stormy sound effects, the Hurricane WatchNet celebrates 60 years of service to the United States National Hurricane Center by entering the world of podcasting. What you heard is the introduction to this new program, which brings stories, people, and the history of the net to viewers and listeners. Episode 1 of the HWN Report, hosted by net manager Bobby Graves, KD5HAV, premiered in early September on YouTube, featuring a tribute to Jerry Murphy, K8YUW, the founder of the net. Graves told AR Newsline that the purpose of the podcast is to, quote, help others understand the full role of amateur radio during disasters, home and abroad, helping the Hurricane Center and forecasters gather more data, near real-time ground truth weather data, and help people to be better prepared before a hurricane, end quote. He announced later that by popular demand, in addition to YouTube, an audio version of each program will be available on services such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeart Podcasts. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
In the world of DX, listen for the Radio Club D80 using the call sign 4V1SB through to the end of October. This is a special call sign commemorating the role Haiti played in assisting the revolutionary efforts of Simon Bolivar, who helped win independence from Spain for many South American countries. The call sign bears his initials, QSL via N200. Mitsuru JE1HXZ is on the air as JE1HXZ/6 from Kita Daito Island, IOTA number AS047 from the 8th through the 15th of October using CW, SSB, RIDI, and FT8/FT4 on 160 to 6 meters, QSL via LOTW. Listen for the Mediterraneo DX Club, which is sending a large multinational team to Sierra Leone using the call sign 9L8MD. They will operate from the 30th of October through to the 10th of November using CW, SSB, RIDI, and FT8/FT4 on 160 to 6 meters. QSL via IK2 VUC. 6 members of the DX-obsessed group will be calling QRZ as FW5K from Wallis Island, IOTA number OC054, from the 19th to the 31st of October. Listen for them on 160 to 6 meters using CW, SSB, FT8/FT4, and RIDI. QSL via Club Logs OQRS. For our final story, we honor our mentors, our Elmers, and all those more experienced hams who are there to help newcomers. This is the story of one ham's thank you to them all, as we hear from Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
One of the most time-honored traditions in amateur radio is that of being an Elmer, a more experienced ham willing to answer questions and pass on knowledge to newer hams. The origin of the term is still up for discussion, but the impact they have on the hobby is not. On October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Rich Guerrera, KB1FGC, was on the air with a special event celebrating Elmers, particularly the ones who shaped his own life as a ham. In an email to Newsline, Guerrera said that 2 things inspired him to do the event: articles he'd read on QRZ.com about hams who had helped others get into the hobby, and the positive impact that they had on their early years as hams. He also drew from his personal experience with those hams who had given him a warm response and encouragement when he first started out. Guerrera said that operators had confirmed approximately 100 QSOs during the event and received positive responses from hams they worked. He's planning on doing it again next year, and he said there might be a European team as well. On a personal note, I was fortunate to have 2 exceptional Elmers as a teenager: Bob Heil, K9EID, and Steve Ramsey, K9SR, who had been friends since they were kids. Sadly, I lost Bob last March and Steve on September 26th of this year. But the lessons they taught me and their memories continue to drive me as a ham and inspire me to pass along what knowledge I have when someone asks a question. Elmering should continue. There's always something to learn in this hobby that somebody else has already tried. I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
If you haven't sent in your ham radio haiku yet, what's been stopping you? Visit our website at arnewsline.org, and as you compose your ode to your favorite online activity, we will help you use the correct number of syllables to make an authentic haiku. Submit your work, and then sit back and wait to hear whether you are the winner of this week's challenge. The winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, ARRL, Baptist Press, Birds X Project, Bobby Graves, KB5HAV, David Bihar, K7DB, DX News, 425, DX Bulletin, Facebook, FCC, FLBaptist.org, IARU Region 3, Legacy.com, The Morning, Ofcom, QRZ.com, Satnogs.org, Scottish Microwave Roundtable, TheRegister.com, ShortwaveRadio.de, Tony Jones, N4ATJ, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at airnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, NAWB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
see. Man, who was that guy? Shoo.
You done good, Stefan. K8LYJ.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that.
TOTENA. The weekly Serenet, featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes. Get ready for the weekly SARANet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
W8WKY.
CQ. This is November 8 Whiskey Bravo calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday night weekly net. Net control this evening is yours truly, Stefan, Sierra Tango Echo Papa Hotel Echo November. And again, my call sign is November 8 Whiskey Bravo. This net uses the club call sign Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee for all traffic. This is a controlled net and all traffic must pass through net control. Emergency traffic can break into this net at any time. Sarah meets on this repeater every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. This net is open to all licensed amateurs, and any amateur is encouraged to check in and join us. The frequency, as you're listening to, is 147, mark 390, with a PO tone of 114, mark 8. We'll go through some announcements, followed by a round of in and out check-ins by counties, and then we'll move to regular check-ins, also by counties, and then to trivia for this evening. Here are some of tonight's announcements. The Sierra Club meeting will be this Thursday at the Wadsworth Fraternal Order of Eagles, Area 2117, located at 9953 Rittman Road, Wadsworth, Ohio. A lot of people go to the Mexican restaurant that's in Rittman, actually, and I'm very fortunate to go to a fellow ham member, Randy and Ray's house to have dinner before the meeting, so I will see you all then. The Sierra Fall Fox Hunt will be held Saturday, October 25th, 2025. Come do some direction finding while enjoying the fall weather. Fox hunters should rally at Bueller's in Wadsworth, 175 Great Oaks Trail, Wadsworth, Ohio, 44281 by 10 a.m. and check in with the event coordinator. The start will be at 10:15 a.m. with no more participant envelopes or starts after 10:30. So no more envelopes will be given out after 10:30. The winner is the least distance traveled, not first arrival. Remember, safety first. Your vehicle mileage must be checked prior to starting the event. I don't have too much more on the announcements or the information, but I do have one more, and if anybody has any more to fill out on this, they can call in a second when I call for announcements. But the 2025 Mark Hamfest at Maps Museum this year is coming up on November 2nd. That's a great one. I'll be there. I specifically plan to be at that one. So if anybody has any further information about that one when I call from other announcements, please come forward. Other than that, I did Paul Brown, who gave that last story about mentors, his two mentors, Bob Heil, who passed away last year, also a good friend of mine, and I was able to help Bob redo his Purple book, his amateur radio book. I was very blessed to do that about 8-10 years ago, and his Elmer Steve, and he texted us the AR Newsline group this week because we have a back window or back area to text messages that we keep moving all week long, all day long, and he said he visited Steve, his Elmer, and he set up a small, tiny station right next to the gravestone and made a handful of QSOs in honor of his friend Steve, and he said he thought that was a pretty cool thing. All right. That's all the announcements that I have currently. I'm going to open it up for anyone with any further amateur radio-related announcements. Please call W8WKY for recognition.
W8WKY, WD8LLA.
WD8LLA. Go ahead if you have an announcement.
Oh, I don't have anything to announce. I just checked in. Good evening, Stefan, and everybody on the net.
All right, I'm going to take check-ins in just a little bit, but I'll get you on the log, and then we'll move you to where you need to be once we get the rest of the people checked in. All right. If there's no further announcements, I'm going to be using NetLogger this evening, netlogger.org. If you want to
download it and install it on your computer. I'm using it for taking check-ins in the callback format. As I check you in, I'll repeat your call sign back to you right away so that you know you're rogered into the net, and then I'll grab the next check-in right after that. If you could check in phonetically, then followed by alphanumerically, that would be greatly appreciated. Help me out a little bit. First tonight, we'd like to welcome any newly licensed hams or hams who are new to our net to check in at this time. Any newly licensed or new people to our net, if you'd like to check in, you have an open window right now to do that. And if you'd like to check in and out, that would be as well, should say. But any newly licensed amateurs or people new to our net, please call. All right, nothing heard. We'd like to take in and out check-ins to reduce collisions. We're going to take in and out check-ins by county. I do this by a callback format. As soon as I get you, I call your call sign back, and I take the next check-in. Helps with the collisions. At this time, we'll take in and out check-ins for the following county: Medina County, in and out check-ins, please.
Log talk, sir. Mark and Wadsworth.
KE8 SFS, I got you on the log. I screwed it up a little bit. I'll correct it. Next in and out check in Medina County. Any other Medina County in and out check-ins? Otherwise, we're going to move to Wayne County. Wayne County in and out check-ins.
KE8 J&H, Doug and Rittman, in and out.
All right, I had KE8 J&H. I think somebody doubled with you. If there was somebody that was calling in for in and out with Doug, please go.
Kilowatt Delta 8, Sierra, Quebec.
All right, KD8 SQ, James, got you there. Thank you, appreciate that. Any other Wayne County in and outs, please call.
WWKY, this is Kilo Delta 8 Sierra Lima Golf, KD8 SLG. Nick, I'll be in and out tonight, Stefan, thanks.
KD8 SLG, Nick, got you on the in and out list. Appreciate you checking in, my friend. Any other Wayne County in and outs, please call.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Lima KE8 TLB Randy and Rittman. Hey Stefan, I'll be in and out. You're doing a great job. 73 and God bless everyone.
KE8 TLB, got you on the logs. Thank you. Tell Ray I said hi, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Next, any other Wayne County in and outs, please call. All right, nothing heard. Any Stark County in and outs, please call.
Kilo Alpha 8 Mike November Tango KA8 MNT Tom and Canton in and out.
Gun, Stefan. Back to net control.
All right, I heard Tom there, and I think I heard Neil checking in. I already had you, Neil, on the list, so I just moved you on underneath KA8 MNT, Tom. Neil, were you in and out, or were you here for the whole net?
No, I'll be in and out. I'll be listening.
All right, roger, roger. Any other Stark County in and outs, please call.
November 8, Yankee Mike Yankee, N8YMY John. Billiards on the air, shooting league pool tonight, so we will be in and out. We're standing in the parking lot. 7-3, Stefan.
N8YMY, appreciate that contact, John, and thanks for checking into my last Saturday's net as well. Thank you for that. Any other Stark County in and outs?
W8WKY.
All right, we don't get a whole lot of them in Cuyahoga. Any Cuyahoga County in and outs, please call. All right, any Summit County in and outs, please call. Summit County, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Charlie, Tango, Mike, Carry at Portage Lakes, in and out.
All right, W8 CTM, our morning closer. You always break my heart when you do in and out on a Tuesday night, Ned, my friend. But it's great to hear your voice. Any other Summit County in and outs, please call.
Whiskey Alpha 8, Kilo Oscar Charlie, WA8 KOC, Fred in Akron, in and out. Good evening.
Stephen, I'll be listening on the scanner.
All right, I got WA8 KOC, Fred, and I believe Dave doubled with him. I heard you, and I know it was Dave, so NTAD, you said you'll be listening on the scanner, so I got you both in there for in and out. Appreciate you both. And any other Summit County in and outs, please call.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Lima, Sierra, John W2, JLS, I'll be in and out. And one announcement, I am guest hosting the Colorado Astronomy Net tonight, immediately following this net, approximately 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, well, since you weren't there for the announcement thing, you want to give us a heads up, like frequency? Are they on Allstar? How can people get to it?
Very good, Stefan. Yeah, they can reach it on Sky Hub, HubNet on Echolink is the best way I'm aware of. Others may find other ways in. If you look it up online, Colorado Astronomy Net, typically hosted by a gentleman called Burness, Kilo India 0 Alpha Romeo. Anyway, I know some listeners pop in there from time to time. I've heard some of our regulars out there. But anyway, thanks for letting me interrupt the net. Back to you, sir.
W2JLS, W8WKY. Never an interruption, my friend. If it's amateur radio related, we all like to hear it, and some people might want to join the net right after this one. So, always really good. Thank you for sharing that with us, by the way, and have a good net tonight. I'm sure you will. You always do a good job at everything. Summit County in and outs. Last time, Summit County in and outs. Please call. All right, any county, anywhere, this is it. Any county or anywhere that would like to check in and out, please give us a call. That includes anyone in LaGrange or anywhere in the world that would like to be in and out, please call.
KE8, UKZ, this is Alan over in the Falls. KE8, VOX, Scott, Erie County.
All right, I had KE8 UKZ, Alan, appreciate that in and out, and KE8 VOX, appreciate that, Scott. Any other in and outs, please call. Last call for in and outs, please call. All right, next we'd like to take regular check-ins, also by county. So these are the regular check-ins. If you'd like to hear the trivia question this evening, and it's a good one, by the way. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a good one. If you'd like to regular check-ins and answer the trivia question at this time, we'll take regular check-ins from Medina County. We'll start with Medina County. Regular check-ins, please call. W8, WKY.
KE8, QFT, Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Foxtrot Tango, Fred in Medina.
KE8, QFT, got you, Fred. Any other Medina?
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Romeo, KE8 ZZR, Harry over here in Wadsworth.
G8 Z4, one of my social committee buddies. Any other Medina County, please call. Medina County, check-ins on regular net, please call. All right, Wayne County. Who wants to be a Wayne County regular check-in? Be here to answer the trivia question. Please call W8 WKY. We're at Wayne County.
Alpha 8, Charlie Tango. Good evening, Stefan, Craig, and Shreve.
AACT, got you there. Any other Wayne County, please call. All right, Stark County. Any Stark County people, please give me a call.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Papa, KF8, DTP, Lori Maslin.
KF8, DTP, got you on the log. I believe that K8 UIB is going to check in next, isn't he?
Please copy. Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John Maslin.
See, I'm a skizzic. I told you that. All right, great to have you both. Any other Stark County check-ins, please call. All right, we have any Cuyahoga guys there that want to check into the regular side of the net for the trivia question? Any Cuyahogas? All right, let's move to Summit County. We're going to do Summit County this evening. Any Summit County people, please give me a call. W8 WKY, Summit County.
Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8 LYJ, Bob in the Magic City.
KA8 LYJ, I was just in the Magic City today. As a matter of fact, that's where I got hot dogs at rallies. But anyways, any other Summit County, please call.
W8 WKY, this is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
WO3X, we do appreciate you, John, being here. Any other Summit County, please call.
Kilo 4, Oscar Golf, K4OG, Mark in Copley.
K4OG, got you on the log, and someone doubled with Mark, whoever that was. If you give me your call, I'll get you on the log. Whoever was doubling with Mark wants to get on the log, give me your call. All right, it's an open call. Open call. Last of the calls for anyone that wants to get on the regular side of the net to answer the trivia question. This is your chance. Give me a call. Call W8 WKY. Please call.
W8 WKY.
W8 WKY, this is Kilo Echo 8 Golf Kilo Oscar, Jody in Lafayette Township, Medina County.
K8 GKO. Man, I haven't heard you in forever, my friend. Good to hear you. Any other check-ins, please call.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Zulu Alpha KE8 VZA Eric in Strongsville.
K8 VZA, another one of my social committee buddies. There you go. We got 3 of us here today, so pretty cool. Any other check-ins, please call. 8 Victor, Quebec X-ray, KE8 VQX, Joe in Akron. KE8 VQX, we got you there. Thank you, Joe. Any other check-ins, please call. Someone doubled with Joe, by the way.
That's why I can't get in. My squelch is off. Whiskey 8, Hotel Romeo Foxtrot, W8 HRF, Josh Mobile.
All right, W8J, I'm sorry, did I say J? My apologies, W8 HRF. Man, Josh is going to give us a little bit of a report on the COD thing that he did that this weekend, and he'll give that to us in just a little bit. And he is mobile. Maybe we'll throw him a little bit closer up to the top so he can keep his eye on the road. But any other check-ins, and then we'll get the trivia question going. Any other check-ins, please call.
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Delta Tango Alpha KF8 DTA Jeff New Franklin.
Allstar is 46079, but we'll explain more later. KCFQV.
All right, I got KF8 DTA, and then got walked over. That was Jeffrey. Appreciate that. And then got walked over by KC8FQV. So, Mark, we did hear some of that, but we got you on the log. You can tell us more when we call on you. But any other check-ins, please call. All right, nothing heard. I am going to now relinquish this spot to tonight's trivia question giver. One moment, please. Ta-da! NAWB. I will be tonight's trivia question giver. I want to give you a good one. I don't know if we've ever done this one before. I hope that we haven't. But this is a good one, so I'm going to give it to you. And it reminded me because of amateur radio and one of the reports that I did. I also did the 2,500 2 weeks ago. You just heard the one earlier today for 2502, but I did 2500 as well, and we had some AMSAT stuff on one of those reports. I think it was the one before. So anyways, here's a satellite question. Who was the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact QSO from space using ham radio protocols? Who was the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact, or QSO as we know them at, from space using ham radio protocols? Was it A, Owen K. Garriott, W5 LFL Skylab 3, 1973? B, Tony England, W5 WER STS-6, 1983. C, Frank Bauer, KA3 HDO, STS-9, 1983. Or Vladimir Lebedev. Yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. Lebedev, my apologies. RV3 DR Salyut 6, 1982. Let me give you that one more time. Who was the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact QSO from space using ham radio protocols? Was that Owen K. Garriott, W5 LFL Skylab 3, 1973? B, that would have been A. B, Tony England, W5 WER STS-6, 1983. C, Frank Bauer, KE3 HDO STS-9, 1983. Or Vladimir Lebedev. I always screw that up. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to call the Russian people now and tell them I'm very, very sorry. RV3 DR Salyut 6, 1982. That was your round of questions, and I will take some notes as we go along to see who is the person that is going to, or people who are going to take the credit, so to speak. But I'm going to help Josh out because I know that Josh is driving, and we want to hear a little bit about this weekend's COD event. So as soon as I'm done with Josh, I'll start back up with Fred, KAQFT. But before that, I want to get Josh safely on the road, and he's just checking in with us, very special because he was just at a dinner for his work, and he's heading home. W8 HRF, W8 WKY, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here, Josh. Give us a little rundown on how the COD event went, and what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
W8 WKY, W8 HRF. Good evening, Stefan. Thanks for picking me up here. Hopefully my signal's doing okay. I'm about at my spot where it's starting to be okay into the 3.9. But let's see. For the trivia, I've actually researched this one before, but I don't remember the answer. I'm gonna guess Charlie though. It's funny. I'll even write trivia questions, and then I'll hear somebody ask a similar question or the same question, and I don't remember what the answer is. So we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Anyways, yeah, I've never asked this one before, but yeah, I'm gonna try Charlie. Let's see. First of all, is my signal doing okay, Stefan?
Roger. Excellent, my friend. Very good.
Awesome. All right. Well, the COD event this Sunday went, I would say, phenomenally. I think it went off very well. We got there at about 11 a.m. Lane and Harry, when I got there just after 11, they were setting up the mast and starting to get stuff out of the van. And we got whoa, sorry, somebody's pulling out here. Got everything all. And I think we were on the air about when we aimed to be, about noon. So I know Jeff, who's on the net, he got to operate first. I think it was him and Dave. And so, yeah, so we were on 40 meters on the sub all day, and 20 meters on the station out on the front lawn there. And then Lane worked some 17 meters, did some digital modes. So we ended up with 3 stations, kind of 4. Did some 2 meters. Didn't get much traffic on 2 meters, but I think we made 2 contacts on there. But we did make a lot of contacts between the sub and the other 2 stations. So I'll try to have the final here before the club meeting. So check out the live stream or attend in person, and I'll try to get some numbers together. And yeah, so if you did make contact with the sub, check out W8 COD on QRZ for certificate details if you want to get a certificate. There was all kinds of special moments and stories, and I'm hoping people will be willing to share them at the meeting. Man, so much cool stuff. Jeff brought his kids, and they had a great time. With Adam, I believe it was, and his son Chris operated 20 meters and made some contacts, which was awesome. So we had some youth there, and yeah, the equipment from the technical committee. Thanks to the technical committee for all the awesome equipment that they provided. The bandpass filters came in very useful. We had some tablets there for spotting and used them for logging a little bit, and Lane provided some laptops for logging, and man, just so many good things, so many stories. Looking forward to telling some more of them at the meeting, and even got to meet, I don't know who's heard it or not, but we even got to meet the chief radio officer of the USS Batfish out in Oklahoma. So if you haven't heard it talked about on the net yet, how that happened, you'll have to stop by the meeting. But so much good stuff. It was a lot of fun, and we even got some good group photos up on the sub there by the conning tower. So I'll leave the rest for Thursday, Stefan, and I've talked enough, so I'll throw it back to you, sir. Thanks for picking me up. Say 7-3. It's good to hear everybody tonight. W8 WKY, W8 HRF.
W8 HRF, W8 WKY. We do appreciate you being here and giving us that report. Thanks, Josh. We'll hear the rest of it on Thursday night at the meeting at the Fraternal Order of Eagle, Area 2117, Wadsworth. Cool. Very, very cool. All right. And I also wanted to say, some of you who are listening, if you know, I'm on every other month. The very last Tuesday should be the 28th, but Jerry needed off tonight, and so we flopped net. So he's going to be picking up the 28th. You'll hear Jerry Strope. You'll hear his regular voice on my net shift, and I'm doing this one for him. But K8QFT, W8 WKY. Fred, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here this evening. What do you think the trivia question answer is?
Well, thank you, Stephen. I'm going to say Charlie for the trivia. Because I don't know and I always say Charlie. Especially when the guy before me says Charlie. I look over his shoulder there. Oh, yeah, I had a good time Sunday down at the COD. Although this morning I was still sore. Had to go bowling and oh my God. Yeah, I was sore from just going down that ladder and climbing through all them compartments and then back up and oh boy. But I asked the guide, him how many men ordinarily were on there, and he said, well, at to 97, you know, and I Googled it also, and I seen like 65 to 97, just like he said. But one time they had to save the crew of a Norwegian sub, and they had like 50 people on that. So they had about 150 people on that submarine at one time. Could you imagine that? Yeah, I was just amazed at, you know, the little area that they had for berthing, and wow, man. Hats off to the submariners. KE8 QFT back to net control.
KE8 QFT. My apologies, I had a brain fart there. W8 WKY. We do appreciate you being here, Fred. Thank you so much for that. We're going to move over to KE8 ZZR W8 WKY. Harry, great to have you here this evening. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is?
W8 WKY, this is KE8 ZZR. Good evening, Stefan, and everybody else that's on the net. Yeah, let me get the trivia question out of the way because I'll forget. I'm going to go with B. I don't have a clue, and I'm not going to Google it, so I'm just going to take a stab at B. I'll echo again what everybody else has been saying about the COD. Josh, you did a fabulous job putting that together. It's a lot of work, and everybody had a great time down there. A special moment that I got, and Stephanie, you'll appreciate this, is I was operating 20 meters, and I believe the gentleman's name, he's a new ham, his name is Jeff, and I think his call sign's KF8DTA. He's a technician. He brought his son down, and Jeff made some contacts, and then he asked him if his son wanted to make some contacts, and he did. And the son made a contact, and it was like Christmas morning. It was just so precious. I was sitting there, and just to watch him, it was awesome. So that's something I'll always remember. And you know, I don't have kids, so that was kind of neat to see. But yeah, it was a great time. And other than that, I yielded my time down in the radio room there because I was not going to get into that radio room. It's like a broom closet. So I yielded my time to some of the other members so they could spend time down there. And I just worked 20 meters outside and had a great time touring the ship, though. I did go through it. Yes, I am sore, Fred. Still sore. So with that, Stephen, I'm going to turn it back to you. This is KE8 ZZR Claire.
KE8 ZZR W8 WKY, we do appreciate you. That is a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Those are the great moments of amateur radio, and I'm sure that's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be another radio under the Christmas tree in a few years for that family. Alpha 8 Charlie Tango W8 WKY. By the way, thank you, Harry, for sharing that and all that you do for the club. And Craig, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is?
W8 WKY. Good evening, Stefan. I have no idea, and because of that, I'm going to just take Charlie because that kind of starts with my first letter of my name, so no reason at all. Yeah, the COD was phenomenal. Thanks to Josh, thanks to everybody. It was quite the adventure. And from somebody as stealthy as I am, getting through some of those hatches was Yeah, I haven't contorted like that in a while, but made it through, and no problems. Just watched the young people while I followed Josh down, and he was already down, and I was still on the ladder. So there you have it. So this is AAHCT saying good evening to all of the Sarah Net people, and hope to see you all there on Thursday. Stefan, thank you for covering for Jerry. I'm sure he appreciates it. I will see you there on Thursday. So with that, be well, my friends, 73s. And to all of the Sarah Netizens, go out and make somebody smile, because it'll make you feel better. 73s, AAHCT.
AAHCT, W8WKY, we do appreciate you, Craig, for being here. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the kind words. KF8, DTP, W8WKY. Lori, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here tonight. What do you think the trivia question answer is?
W8WKY from KF8 DTP. I have not got a clue, and I keep sitting here pondering, and I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to be difficult and different tonight, so I'm going to choose B, Bravo, and go with it, just to be different from my husband. So yeah, why not? Going on, just kind of sitting, chilling, and relaxing. But with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Net Control. Thanks for running the net stuff. And this is KF8 DTP clear.
Before you skedaddle, my brain went one way, and then I was looking at the AIM window. Give me your answer again. Which one was it?
B, Bravo.
All right, KF8, DTP, W8, WKY. We do appreciate you being here, Lori. Thank you so much for that. And I got you logged as B for Bravo. All right, very cool. K8, UIB, W8, WKY. John, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here this evening. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is?
W8WKY for K8 UIB. Good evening, Stefan, everybody out there on the net, and all the trivia question. Well, I'm doing my weekly message back and forth with Mom and Dad, and they're saying A for Alpha. And with that, let me say, I really don't know, so my logic is 1973 is a pretty perfect year, given the fact my wife was born in 1973, so I'm going to go ahead and take Alpha on that, and earn me some brownie points, even if I get the answer wrong. Hi. But with that, I hope everybody's having a good evening, and enjoying and relaxing on a Tuesday evening. And with that, this is K8 UIB, living the $5 dream, a nickel at a time. I will hand this back over to Net Control. 7-3, y'all. Thanks for running that stuff.
K8 UIB, W8 WKY. We appreciate it. You got marked down as A. Thank you, John. Yeah, forget the brownie points. If she's making brownies, that's what I want. That's all I want, man. But I understand, and the loudness of her laughter means she's smiling right now, so she put the shovel away. Trust me. K8LYJ, W8WKY. Bob, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here. What do you think the trivia question answer is this evening?
W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is K88LYJ. I also am going to go with Alpha. The 1980s seems too late for the first formal ham call from space, so I'm going to go with the earliest one and pick Alpha. No, I don't know the answer at all. No, I didn't Google. I'm just using logic. It's a pretty mellow day today. I had to drive my wife to an appointment, and I had an appointment, and then I caught up on a video of a council meeting for the newspaper, and then I went to a club meeting that didn't exist and somehow I didn't get notified of, and so here I am on the net, and looking forward to the club meeting that will take place on Thursday, and do plan on grabbing Mexican ahead of time. This is K88LYJ.
K88LYJ, W8WKY. We do appreciate you being here, Bob, and we can't wait to see you on Thursday. WO3X. W8 WKY. John, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here this evening. What do you think today's trivia question answer is?
Good evening, Stefan, and all on the net. This is WO3X, John in Cuyahoga Falls. Let's see. Yeah, the trivia first. Okay, well, 1973 is when my wife and I got married, so I'm going to go with A also. Let's see here. Over the weekend, part of Saturday and part of Sunday, I did the Pennsylvania QSO party. They have 67 counties. I got 59 of them. Last year, I got 64 of them, but that's okay. But N1MM was having a problem this year with county line stations. So what I had to do was mark them on paper. There was 2 instances of that problem with 4 counties. Well, actually, it did okay. It did okay on the second instance of 2 counties, but on the first instance, it wouldn't do 2 counties. So I wrote, made a note there, and then when I did after I made the Cabrillo file, then I fixed them there. So that's how that went. But it also had there was a bonus station in Somerset County that was 200 points bonus station, and for some reason N1MM had 400 points of bonus. So I don't know where that came from. So again on the Cabrillo file, I put the correct score with 200 bonus points. So that's what went on there. So we'll see how that goes, when they review that stuff. But it'll be almost a year from now that I find out how I did. Let's see. So with that, this is WO3X, back to the net.
WO3X, W8 WKY, we do appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you. Got you noted with A. Got 3 of you in a row. We'll see where K4OG Mark, great to have you here this evening. He sets his answer at. What do you think the answer to the trivia question is, Mark? Great to have you here.
W8 WKY and November 8 Whiskey Bravo. Hello, Stefan and the group. Man, I am going along with Alpha 2. I had made up my mind in the beginning. I was like, the 80s sounds too late. I'm agreeing with John's parents and Bob and, let's see, O3X, OWX, anyway. Alpha it is for me, Stefan. It was like the late 80s, early 90s when I've seen the first cell phone. That thing was like a battery in a suitcase and a brick with an antenna on it up to the big district manager's ear. It was very laughable, but anyway, that's not pertaining to the question, but just trying to tie it in with the timelines. You know what, Stefan? I didn't have a bit of fun on that submarine. Not a bit. But I'm pretty sure my name tag dropped in through the grates, and I got to go back there this weekend and look for that. I might wind up in the radio room, too. K4OG, back to net.
K4OG, now I know that you're funning us when you said you might have to go back in the radio room. Yeah, you didn't have a bit of it, did you? Appreciate you. Can't wait to see you on Thursday night. K8 GKO W8 WKY. Jody, man, it's been a long time. You are up, my friend. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is? K8 GKO W8 WKY. Jody, if you're still there.
Sorry about that. I'd gotten on another frequency, and I did miss the trivia. But I'll guess D if there is a D on there. But just wanted to say hello and good evening to everyone. Hope everyone's having a great time, and I'll be one and done tonight. Thanks a lot. Give you one for the numbers, as some of those used to say. KE8GKO, back to net control.
KE8GKO, W8WKY, we do appreciate you. Thank you for being here, Jody. If you stick around a little bit, we'll give the answer to that trivia question and a little bit of history behind it, too. KE8VZA, W8WKY. Eric, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here this evening. What do you think the trivia question answer is?
W8WKY in a group, KE8VZA here. Good to hear you tonight, Stefan. Thanks for running the net. Trivia, I'm also going to get on the Alpha train. So Alpha, O.N.K. Garrett, I think his name was, 1973. That's a guess. We'll just leave it at that. It's a guess. Let's see, the COD. I had a lot of fun. I managed not to lose my name tag. And K4OG and I teamed up in the radio room on 2 different shifts. And in between there, I got to log in an impromptu fashion with Nick at Night, whom I logged with on the BeaconNet. Only this time I got to do it in person. We were looking at each other when we couldn't make out call signs, and it was kind of funny because we can't normally see each other, right? So anyway, it was very nice. I hadn't been on the COD in about 40-some-odd years, and I tell you what, the crew has done a fantastic job keeping that sub neat and tidy and presentable. It's really interesting. Photos that they've strategically placed here and there, and signage and recordings, and of course there are people meandering around answering questions. So it was fabulous. I'll leave it there. We'll talk more about it on Thursday. But Alpha's my answer. KE8VZA, back to net control.
KE8VZA, W8WKY, we do appreciate you, Eric. Thank you also for being part of the social committee. Yeah, you know, I think he dropped it on purpose so he could get back into the radio room. I think that's what it is, because he's the tin can sardine kind of guy. I would be too. I didn't get a chance to go. I had church duty this weekend, so I was not able to do that. Plus, I had several other things. But yeah, that was great. I think Mark was just fibbing us, but good to hear. Good to hear. KE8VQX, KE8VQX, W8WKY. Joe, you're up, my friend. It's great to have you here this evening. What do you think the trivia question answer is?
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. Hi, Stefan. Thanks for getting me in there tonight. Glad to be here. Just got back from work earlier this afternoon. I'll do the trivia before I forget. I'm going to go with D Delta for no good reason. Just have no idea. I don't know, somehow, I think somewhere along the road I heard about the correct answer to this question, but I'm 90% certain this is not the correct one, but D for Delta. Really bummed out that I missed the COD thing. I had to work, going on a 4-day trip, and I'm a big fan of ship museums, and that's one of the best ones in the country, at least the ones that I've seen. Anyway, thanks for getting me in once again. Stefan, this is KE8VQX, back to W8WKY.
KE8VQX, W8WKY. I got sidelined for a minute. What was your answer? My apologies, Joe.
W8WKY, KE8VQX returning. I picked D, Delta. Stefan, thanks. KE8VQX.
KE8VQX, W8WKY. We do appreciate you, Joe. Thank you for being here. I got to keep my eye off of these AIM windows and stuff on the net logger and text messages. I apologize. I'm not normally like that, but since I'm running the whole gambit this evening, and I want to thank Jerry for letting me step in for him. And like I said, he will be running the 28th, the normal net that I would have done. So, but yeah, thank you, Jerry, for letting me jump in here to help you out. KF8, DTA, W8WKY. Jeffrey, you're up, my friends. Great to have you here this evening. What do you think the trivia question answer is? And I promise I'll write yours down. I promise.
Oh, I honestly don't have a clue. I'm just guessing D, and Yeah, we had a great time at the COD. I brought the whole family, and the girls had a blast. They didn't want to do Daddy's ham radio stuff. It was going to be boring, and I turned around, and they were on the ship before I could even get there. Great job. Thank you, Josh, for putting that together. KF8DTA.
KF8DTA, W8WKY, we do appreciate you being there. That's a great story. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, that's usually what happens. Not going to do Dad's boring stuff. Oh, wait, look at that. There's a ship here. That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll see you at one of these meetings coming up, but very cool. Thank you for being here this evening. KC8FQV, W8WKY. Mark, you're up, my friends. Great to have you here this evening. What do you think the trivia question answer is?
All right, KCFQV, Owen Garriott. I want to say Owen Garriott. And I want to thank Josh this morning when we were talking about, well, is Newsline going to run tonight or not, because I guess it's been skeptical of it wanting to run or not sometimes, with the, Jason had put the new hub in there because the other one decided it was going to go belly up. And I don't think Jason was ready to put that in yet because he had to still do some things with it. But he got it in there, and I was making a comment, and Jason said, yeah, he knows he has to do some adjustments still with it, with the audio, particularly coming from the repeater side into it. I think more of what it is. And we were after the barometer net this morning, K40G and W8TD and me. We were talking about it, and they were talking about, yeah, we had to do a little adjustment on our nodes. I haven't done nothing. Well, I use DV switch, so, but that was, that's that. So, the other thing is, I want to reset. The other thing is, yeah, that Colorado astronomy net on around 9 o'clock tonight, our time, is on Skyhub Link, or Skyhub, Skyhub Link. I think it's Skyhub Link. But they also are on Allstar 48. No, not 48. 46. Yeah, 46079. Yeah, 46079 is, they're on Allstar. Yeah. Yeah, these All-Star. I haven't wrote any of the, well, I do have some of them in my phone when I do the phone portal. They're all with that, but I haven't wrote them all down. New ones I've been finding, but it's 46079, and that's 9 o'clock every Tuesday. And there's other nets on that Colorado hub net, or on that Colorado system. So I send it back your way, Stephen. But I'm going to say Owen Garriott, KC8FQV.
KC8FQV, W8WKY. We do appreciate that, Mark. So I will mark you down with letter A. Several B's, some C's, several D's, several A's. We got a good mixture there. Very nice. All right, well, we're at the bottom of the net, and I'm going to make one last call for any further check-ins. I will read the trivia question off one more time. I won't double it up like we normally do, just to keep the net running a little bit, so people need to get other places. But if you'd like to check in, this is the end of the net, but we want to get any last ones, and then I'll read off the answers to this right after we run the last few check-ins. So if there's any last check-ins, please call W8WKY.
Kilo Delta 8, November Echo Oscar, KD8 Anio, just checked me in and out. Thanks for doing the net.
Kilo Charlie 1, Victor Quebec Sierra, KC1, DQS, Paul in Maine.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Echo Papa Bravo, Brian in Carver Falls.
All right, let me pick it up there. KD8 NEO. Daryl, we got you in and out. Appreciate that. KC1 VQS. Paul, who checks in on our Saturday net a lot in Maine. Appreciate that, Paul. Get to you in just a little bit. And KF8 EPB. Brian, appreciate the check-in. Any last ones? And then we'll run these two after I read the quick trivia question, then we'll give you the answer.
Kilo Bravo 8, Victor Hotel India. This is Steve at North Canton, in and out.
All right, let me pick it up there. KB8 VHI. Steven, got you there, in and out. Appreciate that, my friend. All right, let me read this trivia question really quick for the sake of Paul and Brian. We'll get their answers, and then I'll give you the answer of answers. Tonight's question, Paul and Brian. Who was the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact QSO from space using ham radio protocols? Who was the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact QSO from space using ham radio protocols? Was it A, Owen K. Garrett, W5LFF Skylab 3, 1973, B, Tony England, W5WER, STS-6, 1983, C, Frank Bauer, KE3HDO, STS-9, 1983, or Vladimir Lebedev, RV3DR, Salyut 6, 1982. All right, we're going to go up to Paul really quick and say KC1, VQS, W8, WKY. Paul, it's great to have you here this evening. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is?
Well, good evening, Stefan, and everyone on the net. I have no idea what the answer is, but based on the years, I'm going to go with the earliest one. I think the 80s were a little late for that kind of thing. I think amateur radio was a thing earlier than that. So I'm going to go with Alpha, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what the actual answer is. So with that, Stefan, I'll pass it back to you from KC1 VQS.
KC1 VQS W8 WKY. We do appreciate you being here, Paul. And like I said, on all the Saturday nets when you check in, it's great to have someone from Maine checking in. And they reposted the Downeast Microwave on Prime Video. I think it was there, but they took it off for a while, and it popped up in my list because I wouldn't mind watching the series again. I thought those guys were good down there, up there in Maine. Yeah, well, you know, when you guys transmit down here, all the signals, it rolls down this way. We do appreciate you, though. We do. KF8 EBAE. Oh, let me clear it up. All right. Small little hurdle. KB8 EPB W8 WKY. Brian, you're up, my friends. Great to have you here this evening. What do you think tonight's trivia question answer is?
W8 WKY.
W8 WKY. This is KF8 EPB. I think I saw something about this. I think that it happened on the space shuttle, or may have been related to the space shuttle, so I'm going to go with in the 80s, so I think the answer is B. But other than that, thanks for doing the net, and back to you, 73. This is KF8 EPB.
KF8 EPB W8 WKY. We do appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you so much. And I do got your listed as B, and I have Paul listed as A. All right, give me 1 second to redo the repeater, and I will give you the answer and a little bit of trivial history. Who is the first licensed amateur radio operator to make a formal voice contact or QSO from space using ham radio protocols? That honor went to A, Owen K. Garrett, W5LFL, was the first person to transmit on amateur radio from space. Mission Skylab 3, SL3, NASA's third manned Skylab mission, August 13, 1973, made the first contact from space. Garrett, an American astronaut and electrical engineer, set up the SAREX, Space Amateur Radio Experiment precursor equipment on the Skylab space station. He made voice contacts with amateur radio operators, hams, worldwide using the call sign W5LFL, his personal ham license. This marked the first amateur radio transmission from space, opening the door for future space-based ham radio. Over 30 days, Garrett logged over 300 QSOs with stations in 20-plus countries, including a record 345-mile contact with a station in California. Why Garrett, you ask? Prior attempts like Apollo 8, 1968, used voice but not formal amateur radio protocols or licensing. Earlier Soviet missions, Vostok, had telemetry but no interactive amateur transmission. Garrett was a licensed ham before his flight, ensuring compliance with FCC rules for amateur operations. NASA records that the official Skylab logs and mission transcripts confirm the first transmission at 14:35 UTC on August 13, 1973. The ARRL recognizes Garrett as the pioneer. His call sign is honored in AMSAT awards. And getting the message through the U.S. Army Signal Corps history in a book reference, and Garrett's memoir, The Making of an Astronaut, details the setup. Later examples included Tony England, ST-6, 1983, and the ISS ongoing ERIS program. But Garrett was definitely first. If you're a ham, you can still work space stations today via NA-1SS. Also, the other answers were B, England, the first shuttle ham, 1983, 10 years later, after Garrett. C, Bauer, helped design shuttle ham radio but flew later. And D, Lebedev, first Soviet space ham, 1982, but Garrett beat him by 9 years. That's the trivia question answer. Give me a minute for break, and then I will close this net out. All right. I want to thank every single person who checked in tonight to the net, the Sarah net. I want to say thank you to Jerry for handing it over to me to help him out with something, and you will be hearing Jerry on my net, which is 2 weeks from now on the 28th. Don't forget, our next VE session for Sarah is going to be on December 6th at the Rittman Fire Department. Also, if you look at the NORS, N-O-A-R-S website, their next VE session is coming up the first Saturday of November, and we work kind of hand in hand with them as a fellow club, as we do with Wayne. Kind of nice. When they need a hand, they ask us, and when we need a hand, we ask them, as we do Wayne, and Wayne does with us. So thank you to both clubs there. And we need more of that in amateur radio. We really, really do. We need to get more clubs on board to helping each other in VE sessions or whatever. Because we're not making money on VE sessions, but what we're doing is we're making memories with VE sessions. Because amateur radio is a great thing for emergency communications to help us out. It is a service of the FCC, but it makes memories, and we heard that on the COD with 2 enduring stories with children there. So very, very cool. Once again, Sarah would like to thank and wish everyone who participated in tonight's net a very great rest of your week. Don't forget the amateur radio, the barometer net tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Don't forget breakfast at Bueller's in Wadsworth on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. Why you would go to Bueller's and not be on the 7 a.m. net, I don't know, but I guess food's a big thing. And at this time, I want to say I enjoy amateur radio, I enjoy this club, I enjoy all of you, and man, do I know that there's going to be some really cool stuff coming up before the end of the year on amateur radio. Lots of neat events, including the Massillon Hamfest at the Maps Museum. And that's a great museum to see all the military planes. And then also get some really cool amateur stuff. At this time, we're going to close the net. We have 33 check-ins. I want to say thank you to everyone who checked in and all of our listeners. This repeater is returned to normal amateur use. November 8 Whiskey Bravo and Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee are both clear. 73, my friends. And we'll hear you somewhere down the road. And the next time you hear me will be the last Saturday of the month. And you'll hear Jerry right before that, I believe. Maybe. 73, my friends. Everyone have a great evening.
Hello, Stefan. K-A-H-E-K-G.
Hey, is that, How are you, my friend?
Yes, this is John. I turned the radio on. I was going to check in with you because I know you, so you closed the net, so we'll skip all that. I just wanted to say hi. I wanted to say hello. So I did that. Great job on the net. You do a nice job.
John, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. Give me your call one more time. One of these days I'll remember it, and I apologize for not. I'll throw it on, so before I close the net out, it'll count for another number, and we'll have 34. So if you give me your call one more time. Great seeing you the other day, by the way, at WE8WIZ, the Wiz's house.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. We got to do that again. Oh, gosh, like I know tomorrow and Thursday I'm busy, but I always find something that I have to do. The weather's nice. I got to get out and get this done, get that done. And then there's days I don't want to do anything. So I get it all done. My call, Kilo Alpha 8, Germany, Kilo Germany. GKG, it's all right. Nobody gets it the first 5 or 6 times they hear it.
All right, KA8 GKG, we do appreciate you, John. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to get in touch with the Big Bob and see when we can do that on an afternoon again. Yeah, it was cold last Friday. We actually did the internal for the first time this fall because it was a little bit cool in the evening. So I have a feeling we're going to be moving more in the shed in the back of his house now that the colder weather's coming. But when it does get really cold, we do have the heater on the propane tank. So, all right, my friend, I'll send it back to you for one more, and then I'm going to shut this station down. I got to do a couple things this evening, but good to hear you, my friend John. You're up, and I'll be gone in your final. 73, my friend. 73 to everyone who might be listening. Go ahead, John.
Well, I'm sure you've been talking enough for the last hour or so. So I will shut up as well. Have a good evening. Yeah, let's get together and burn some leaves. And we're going to be seeing more and more cool days. So one of these days, maybe we should meet over at the pipe rack once the real cold weather sets in. But we'll talk about that. So have a good evening. Do a great job on the net. Thank you. And I'm going to move over to HF and talk to you soon. KAHG. KG.